Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about proper tonguing techniques. When we first pick up the instrument, we usually just kind of focus on making sound, right? However, it's also very important to be able to separate that sound. So instead of, hearing one long idea, we hear them as little, maybe 3 or 4 different ideas within the entire thing. So tonguing, you have different types of tonguing. You have what I think everybody calls just regular tonguing. Then you have something called lazy tonguing. And then the third one was staccato tonguing, right? Which is really short and separated. And in order for us to do that, we have to practice it, or at least know how to practice it. And we have to be aware of a certain body part, and that is our tongue, right? So in order for us to practice this, we're not going to need the entire saxophone. We're only going to need the neck and mouthpiece. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend like we're going to play. But we're going to focus on saying the word da. So think of dad, dad, dad. However, take away the D at the end. So all you're left with is the letter D at the beginning and then the letter A in the middle. Da, right? Now, this kind of works because when we say D, notice where your tongue is. Duh, duh. It's at the front. It's right behind your teeth. Duh. And for us to say the letter A that follows that, we have to use our air and get the tongue out of the way for the air to flow and for the letters to come out, right? Da, da. Da, da, da. We can maybe think of the word T-A, ta, as well as da. It really depends on your tongue and what you feel more comfortable doing. But we have to remember to keep that air going forward. Otherwise, it's going to be short. Da, da, da. And we want to practice these long first. Then we can add variations, right? But the first thing you should do is put the mouthpiece up to your mouth with the neck, of course. And don't play just yet. Try to get the air. Try to separate the air. Same idea, da or ta, except you're not producing any sound. You want to hear the air separate. Once you're pretty comfortable with that, then we can try making some sound and separating the notes that we're playing. And that's a really good way to practice tonguing. Now, let me show you what an air attack is. An air attack is when we play a note without tonguing. It's literally we create the sound with our diaphragm pressure and just air. It's almost like a sound. And that is not always a good thing because it can affect our pitch and it can also affect our accents. So if we have to make one note stand out, it's not really going to stand out if we're using an air attack, which is why we tongue. For example, ba ba dee bo ba. Certain notes came out a lot stronger than others because of the tonguing. If I were to do that with an air attack, it would be a lot harder. It doesn't quite work the same way. So an air attack is when you just play a note with the air without using your tongue. I don't recommend it. It has its uses, but for now, we have to practice and focus on tonguing. Again, we're gonna use only the mouthpiece and the neck. We're gonna put it up to our mouth, and we're gonna say the word da or ta with a T. We wanna separate the air first. Make sure we're using our air to hear. We have to listen to that air. And once we're comfortable with that, we can start practicing on a note, saying the word da or ta, just like what we did with the air, except now we're playing notes, right? You can practice this kind of like the way we practice long tones. You can play them as half notes. You can play them as quarter notes. You can play many rhythms at different speeds, of course. So it's really up to you to decide where you want to start. I always recommend whole notes, and just tonguing the beginning of every note. Ta, ta, ta. And then you can move into half notes and quarter notes. And that is how we practice tonguing.